So earlier I mentioned that depending on what light type you have selected, that's going to affect which settings you see here. But there is a setting which is always there, and it's called Falloff. And this is used to control how the light decays over a certain distance. So you adjust that using this radius. There's different ways that this can happen. The first one we just picked there is called inverse square, physically accurate, which, by the way, you can change the radius using this box here too. And this mode is supposed to be sort of trying to simulate how lights behave in real life, right? Which is that the closer you get to a light source, it gets brighter using this sort of inverse square ratio. And if you're never too sure about, what certain things mean in Cinema 4D, you can right click and show help, and it's going to open the relevant section in the manual. Now, I know I'm just telling you guys to check out the manual, but this is a very useful tool, especially when you're, dealing with very technical terms like inverse square. In the manual, you will get some very good explanations of all of this stuff with diagrams showing you how all of it works. So it's definitely a very useful tool that you shouldn't ignore. And so in this particular example, we can see that inverse square falls off with this kind of based on this kind of graph here, whereas linear is, as the name suggests, it's more of a line. And we can see that in practice if we go through the settings. So linear, it still has a soft edge to it, but when it gets to that edge, it does fall off quite quickly. Then step, you could say, takes it a step further, so to speak. And when you get to the edge of that radius, it just drops off completely. So you get this very abrupt transition. Inverse square clamped. In my eyes, it's a bit like combining linear and inverse square physically accurate. The way it falls off in the distance is similar to inverse square physically accurate, but closer to the light, it behaves more like linear. And here is one last option, which is gradient. We can use this to set different colors based on the light's fall off. So if I choose these two colors here, maybe I'll invert these. So we have blue at the front, and then as the light fades into the distance, it turns into this purple tone, and you can remap this to be closer, if you wish, to that range, and pretty much do whatever you want. So that's just one of those tools you can use once again for a very sort of specific effect.